We can start the meeting now, Chair. Thank you.
Good morning. Welcome to. I'm Councillor Linda Mascott. Welcome to the meeting of the this licensing hearing today. Could I just do a bit of housekeeping? I'd like to remind everyone this meeting is being streamed live on our website and being recorded. Remote meetings are still something quite new. The need to get used to the technical operation mean they're unlikely to go as smoothly as meetings held in person, so I hope you'll bear with us. To help us, councillors have been given guidance on the conduct of remote meetings, and I'd like to emphasise a few points for all involved. Please, can all participants take part from a place where they're not going to be disturbed or distracted? When you're not actively participating in the meeting, I'd ask everybody to please keep their audio and video turned off. Anyone wishing to speak should type in H in the chat box. I'll call them when it's their turn to speak. All questions and contributions to come through the chair, please. And remember to turn on your video and audio when I ask you to speak. Any councillor with an interest in any item should declare it and keep your audio and video off when it's being considered. That won't be included in any vote on the subject. When it comes to a decision on any of the recommendations, I will assume that if no one says that they oppose them, everyone will be in agreement. If everyone says they're opposed, I'll ask for a formal vote to be conducted. That won't be within the body of this meeting. If we lose the live stream on the website, I'll adjourn the meeting for 10 minutes and hopefully the problem can be fixed. If not, I'll adjourn the meeting till a future date. Hopefully that won't happen. So the agenda for today, have we any apologies for absence, and could you tell us who's actually present, please, Daniel?
Thank you. We haven't got any apologies for absence. I'll just run through who's here. So you're obviously here chairing the meeting. And we also have Councillor Jones and Councillor Lee. Councillor Rajesh hasn't joined, so it will just be the three of you today. The officers present, I'm here from Democratic Services. William Butcher is from Legal Services. And from Licensing, we have Katie Higgins and Nigel Dermott. And in terms of the parties here for the hearing, we have Ronan McManus from Essex Police and Paul Brooks, who is here on behalf of Lewis Mould. So he's acting as the responsible authority for environmental health. Thank you, Chair. Thank you very much.
Declarations of interest. Members are reminded they must disclose any interest they know they have in items of business on this meeting's agenda. They must do so at this point on the agenda or as soon as they become aware of the interest. If the interest is a disclosable pecuniary interest, they are obliged to notify the monitoring officer within 28 days of the meeting. I assume that nobody has a disclosable pecuniary interest. Thank you. The minutes of the meeting held on the 7th of September. Could you, Councillor Jones, could you confirm that they are a true record?
I can, yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. So we move on to item 4, which is the application for a review of a premises licence, the De Beauvoir Arms, Downham Road, Billericay. Katie, I understand that you are presenting this on behalf of the licensing team.
Hello, yes, thank you, Chair. Sorry, I had an issue with my mute button. Hello, members and everyone. So the committee is requested to consider an application made by Essex Police to review the said premises licence under Section 51 of the Licensing Act 2003 and have regard to representations made during the consultation period that followed in line with the promotion of the licensing objectives, namely the prevention of crime and disorder, public safety, the prevention of public nuisance and the protection of children from harm. Members are advised that they have the following options when determining this application: to modify the conditions of the licence so as to add, amend or remove any of them, to exclude a licensable activity from the scope of the licence, to remove the designated premises supervisor, to suspend the licence for up to 3 months, or revoke the licence. An appeal against the review decision may be made within 21 days of the notification of the decision by the licensing committee, by the licence holder, chief officer of police or any other person making relevant representation. The premises is a restaurant and bar located within a small village on the outskirts of Billericay but within the jurisdiction of Chelmsford City Council. It is surrounded by residential properties and is licensed by the licensing authority. A copy of the premises licence is attached as Appendix A. On the 12th of August 2020, Chelmsford City Council received an application from Essex Police for a review of the premises licence at the de Beauvoir Arms on the grounds of crime and disorder, public safety and the prevention of nuisance. A copy of the application for the review is attached as Appendix B. The application has been properly made in accordance with the Licensing Act 2003 and all procedures correctly followed. The public notice was properly displayed and copies of the application served on the premises licence holder and responsible authorities. The application was also advertised on the council's website. During the consultation period, the authority received further representations from Environmental Protection Services on the grounds of public nuisance. A copy of that representation is attached as Appendix C. On the 24th of August, the Licensing Authority received notification of a representation from a resident local to the premises, attached as Appendix D. On the 4th of September, we received 2 further statements from officers that attended the premises, and their statements are attached as Appendix E. No other representations have been received from any other responsible authority nor interested party. The premises licence authorises the following licensable activities as described below on your report. The relevant sections of the statement of licensing policy are brought to the attention of the members are as follows. Where relevant representations are made, the council will seek to make objective judgments as to whether the conditions may need to be attached to various authorisations to secure promotion of the licensing objectives. The authority's determination should be evidence-based, justified as being appropriate for the promotion of the licensing objectives and proportionate to what is intended to achieve. This application has been correctly submitted, and at the conclusion of this hearing, members are advised to consider the options previously recommended. And that's the end of my report. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Katie. Could I call on Ronan McManus to please give us the police report?
Yes, good morning, Chair.
Good morning.
The incident in question, this occurred on Sunday the 2nd of August 2020 when police received 16 calls from concerned residents regarding a party at the de Beauvoir Arms. Officers attended the location, discovered that there was a marquee had been erected with 600 people expected. The event had been advertised on social media for Yellow and White Soiree, organised by Pure Life Entertainment, operating between 1 p.m. and 10 p.m. Tickets were sold through the Eventbrite website. The premises manager reported that he was expecting 200 people to attend, but there is unconfirmed reports that 2,000 to 3,000 people attended. Worryingly, many of the partygoers avoided security by stepping over a small picket fence to gain entry to the event, giving clear evidence that the DPS and promoters didn't have any control over this. This has been witnessed by officers who attended. Colleagues from Chelmsford City Council Environmental Health attended due to noise complaints, and I'm sure you'll have their report. Due to the ever-increasing numbers of people arriving, officers on scene were met event organisers, and they'd agreed that the music would be turned off and the event would be shut at 9. However, this was disregarded, and organisers kept going with the marquee and continued music until the advertised 10 p.m. finish. Several local residents were verbally abused when challenging patrons about inconsiderate parking. One resident had a drink thrown over her face by a female attending the event, and the community tension increased as a result of this event. The attendance and subsequent events were captured on body-worn video, and I hope that my colleague was able to allow you to have access to that as part of the bundle. Additionally, on Tuesday, the 4th of August, police attended the premises and found staff unobstructive and refusing details. It was then discovered that the DPS, at that time, Mr. Ali, reported that the previous DPS is no longer employed, and the licensing officer instructed the manager to submit an application for DPS variation. To date, no application had been received at the time that we completed this report. And as you can see, I don't intend to go through all of the report, but I'd hope you've had a chance to review it. And in order to mitigate, what we're looking to seek to receive is that 8 conditions are imposed. So more importantly, that between 9 p.m., 2100 hours, and 1 a.m., no sales of alcohol for consumption off premises may take place. An individual may not supply alcohol unless the individual has written consent of the designated premises supervisor, and a written record of this consent is recorded on the premises. There should be no event at the premises that is organised, promoted, or advertised by an external promoter, not directly related to the management of the premises. An additional log should be kept on the premises where immediately available to police or licensing authority for anyone in relation to crimes at the venue, ejected patrons, complaints, incidents of disorder, seizures of drugs and offensive weapons, and observations from police officers that attended on the evening was that there was widespread drug abuse in the form of cannabis, with people seeing people smoking cannabis and wandering around, and that was part of the security measures as well, that the staff were not intervening in doing that. Essex Police provided some stills of the drones at the time, which is part of the bundle, which I hope you've had a chance to have a look at. In essence, this generally quiet location was taken over, and the local residents had a horrible time, challenging people not from the area, with little regard for sort of community tension there.
Thank you very much. Thank you. If you finished, I'll invite the committee to ask questions at the end when we've heard from Mr. Moomin and Paul Brooks.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Could I call Ali Moomin? Ali Moomin, could you unmute your microphone if you're here and would like to speak?
They are here, Chair. I don't know if we want to hear from Paul Brooks and then try and go back to them instead.
Yeah, we'll do that. Thank you. Mr. Moomin, if you're around, if you could try. Yeah, could I ask Paul Brooks then? Could you speak? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I'm representing Lewis Mould, acting as responsible authority for environmental health. We attended this event. The out-of-hours noise officer arrived at site at 7:15 p.m. and it was quite clear that a noise nuisance was being caused. Very loud bass music throughout the area, because the marquee wouldn't provide any sound insulation at all. You've heard about the numbers of people present. The noise officer did speak with the owner to try and get the noise reduced. That did happen initially. But it went back up very quickly, and it's quite clear that there was no control of this event. And you'll see from the police report about the disorder. The event did finish, but again, that was due to the promoter finishing it. It wasn't because of any control that the licence holder had with it. So an event that was out of control, very, very loud music, which was totally unacceptable. The one comment I would make, Chair, is that in our submission, we say we'd recommend that a condition be imposed that prohibits the use of the outdoor area for licensable activities. The police, under paragraph 4 of their submission, propose conditions that restrict licensable activity to before 9 p.m. We're quite happy to defer to that condition. And if you were minded to, we would accept the police's condition in place of our own. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Moomin, Ali Moomin, would you like to say anything at this point?
Hello, good morning. Could you hear me?
Hello there. Hi. Would you like to address the committee, please?
Yes, good morning. Yeah, what's happened on that day is we're dearly sorry what's happened, and it's obviously got out of control, you know. and we wasn't expecting all these people there. My brother, he's the manager in the restaurant, and his son plays football. There's one of the guys called Jason, who organised he said to use the space outside. So he's going to put a marquee, and he's going to have a little family party in there. And we said it's not going to be a problem, but we don't, because of Corona and everything. And we said it's they can use the space, providing they take control of everything, like the marquee, order the marquee, and they were going to pay us £5 for the food, and we was just going to do the food, and they wasn't selling because it was a family thing. They said they wasn't going to sell any alcohol or anything. It's just going to be family, children, and soft drinks, And obviously, it was arranged for about 200 people, they said, with a lot of ample space in the garden. We've got 2 different gardens and the marquee for the people. And when the police were there, even before the police came, we just had no control whatsoever with the security and the people coming in and all that, and it's just got out of hand. And before we called the police came themselves, and we explained to the police what had happened, And we've been there for almost 17 years. I'm a licensee there, and we've had nothing like it whatsoever. And the whole thing was taken by surprise. Just what's happened on the evening. So I'm going to ask the Honourable Chair and everyone not to. We really don't sell alcohol outside the premises anyway. It's all served inside. The premises. On summer, occasionally, if people they buy the beer and take in the garden. But my brother is also with me, who's the manager of the restaurant. If you want to speak to him, he can touch base with what's happened. We've got evidence of this guy who organised the party, and we was not aware of he's organising all these silly parties in there. We was just told we've got evidence on. We said to him everything is going to be done here. It's going to be done according to the COVID and all that. We got the correspondence, and that was the first time I've ever done anything like that, hiring the space because of what's happened over the last few months, and we just thought let's see how it goes. Maybe we can earn a little money. We haven't even got any money paid for this from these people after the party. Yeah. So if you want to speak to my brother Ashraf Ali, he was on the day as well as me, and he was the one who really organised with football coach, my nephew's football coach. Yeah. So is it all right if he says a few words to you, madam?
I'm happy for him to speak if he was there. If you could make it quite brief, and we have got all the paperwork. So if you want to add to that, then I'm quite happy for you to speak.
Okay.
Hello there. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. My name is Ashraf Ali. I was the person responsible with this person to organise this event. Unfortunately, what the guy came and asked me to hold for him was a garden soiree for his family, a garden party. And I stressed to him the current conditions we're under, and it was doable under the regulation. They could have tables of 6s, and everyone was seated. And that was what I was expecting. And unfortunately, that was not what happened. So with that regard, it was much of a shock to us as, what happened. So unfortunately, in that situation, we dealt with it as best we could with the police who were present there and the council person who was there. And before I can say, considering what everyone is saying, happened, the fact that we got the event finished under a good time without any further incidents, with no other, extra issues than the ones you already said, like no other criminal activities or criminal damage to properties. We did our best, and unfortunately, I was totally unaware that was what they were planning. And since then, we have found out this promoter has gone around other venues and he's done the same thing. So, we were, because it's due to this COVID thing, was only trying to see how we can kickstart our business again. And unfortunately, as much as everyone, we were shocked. And, we've been in these premises for the last 17 years now. And this is the first incident that has happened to us with regards to anything like this. And, as we've raised our hands up, we said, we've apologized. It was a one-off. We don't expect it to happen ever again as well, and we just want to continue trying to, run our business as best as we can in this current situation that we are in. And, we're trying our best to maintain everything. Locals are coming back to us. And obviously the locals were upset, but they are coming back to us. They have accepted our apologies, and, the police in attendance, they will say how we have dealt with them as well, as politely as we could, and, the people are saying there was like 500, 600, in one of your reports says maybe up to 2,000. So considering, if you can imagine, this number of people came that we weren't expecting, the fact that, everyone left without any too much further disturbance, there was no criminal damage to any property in the local area. I know the officer are saying there was certain misuse of drugs and everything, I believe if that was, that much of an issue, the officers would have gone in and, arrested people, and they should have done, and we've tried our best to control these people that are coming. We made facilities for, the person who came to me, Darren Garby, to hold this event. He said he's going to, obviously wanted to bring more people. I said, no, the maximum we can do is about 200. We've got 2 gardens, a marquee. If you're going to erect that, that's going to have to be big enough to be spaced out. And maximum we can do is probably 200 to 300 tables or 6s, maintaining social distancing, having everything, like the sanitizers, everything, and, not to affect our business. And, we made provision, because we've got a 2-acre land there, we made provisions for enough cars for the people who are expecting to come in. We spent the whole week. He gave us 1 week's notice, for this party. And I said to him, I asked the person, Darren Garby, why was so short notice? He said he had another venue booked, but unfortunately they have not reopened after lockdown. So as a friend of mine, he came through a friend of mine, I trusted this person, to be, honest and professional with me. And unfortunately, he had other ideas, and that was not the case. So, it was quite really duped into that, And if you look into our professional background, we've got venues across the Essex that, we hold, we've got, and that we're running, and everything, all of them are running according to the local licensing laws, so what else can I say to that? Unfortunately, this event, it was much of a shock to us as probably the local neighbours, and we have a good relationship with our neighbours, and we've been, we want to maintain that, a lot of our customers are elderly, and they come to our restaurant and have one drink. That's most of our business, elderly senior citizens and local families who come to our restaurant, and you have one drink with their meal, and it's that we don't have any excess, thing going on. So, that's what I'd like to say. Obviously, this is the first time it's happened. We've not been able to prepare for it because the correspondence I received from the police, they did not even give me any instructions what to do with it. They just 2 forms I got, just explaining what's going to happen. And, unfortunately, I feel a bit unprepared. We haven't even seen, had any legal advice or anything. So, and that's what I can say really at this point in time, I'll let it.
Thank you. Could I ask a couple of things, please? One, for that specific event, did you have a COVID-19 risk assessment?
I did, madam. I did. I did the risk assessment. I said the government guideline at the time was you could for restaurants and pubs, you could have parties of 6 dining together from different families, as long as they're 2 meters social distance.
Yeah.
Hence,
so you've got the paperwork for a risk assessment for that event.
Yes, madam.
Okay. And the other thing I wanted to ask was, you've seen the police information.
Yes, madam.
The statements. What do you think about their proposed conditions?
Well, madam, they're proposing, the sale of alcohol outside after 9 o'clock. I mean, already, we do, sell alcohol after 9. Yeah. For us, to have any inclinations on our license is not good, because we wanted to have a free free thingy. And if this one issue is going to affect our, it's going to put a mark on our business and our license, and we don't really want that, really. And what they're proposing, we already did all these rules we already do. And that one event was a one-off, and the licensing committee and everyone else, they should understand that it was a one-off, and we don't expect to do
never going to happen again.
We don't expect to do that anymore as well, What we was looking at, because of this COVID situation we've been in, we've lost 4 or 5 months of business, and I was looking at, maybe next year we could do smaller weddings, etc., etc. And for me, that was my, I was a bit excited about that. If you get a marquee up, someone's going to pay to put a marquee up, I could get some pictures, maybe prepare for next year. And that's, we wasn't expecting to be able, one-off rave and make thousands and thousands of pounds from, because we didn't even do that, And
thank you very much. Thank you. Has anybody who hasn't made representation or would like to come back on anything that's been said here, like to say anything else? Please put an H in the chat box if you would like to. If everyone, I was going to say Councillor Jones is typing. Councillor Jones would like to ask a question. Ronan, did you want to come back and say anything?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I think it's more of an observation. Both gentlemen have identified that the premises were out of control. They had no control over it. And what we're trying to do is to put conditions in place to make sure that this won't ever happen again. I appreciate 17 years, it may not have happened, but I want to try and keep the local community safe, and putting conditions on a licence, I feel will do this. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Jones.
Thank you, Chair. I'd just like to ask Mr. Ali, Mr. Moon, how the alcohol which was being consumed on at this party, was it all brought by the people who attended, or was there were they buying it from the buildings, or did the promoter have his own bar in the marquee?
Yeah,
or a blend of all three.
Okay. Originally, he said there's going to be family, dude, so it's not going to be alcohol, it's going to be soft drinks and all that. And then later we discovered there were alcohol there. It's not our alcohol. They brought their own alcohol, and we didn't see if they were selling them, but we saw people consuming them, So
just to confirm, they didn't purchase, the people who came did not purchase any alcohol from our premises.
They did not purchase any alcohol from us. They haven't been to the premises at all, our premises, And we supplied some food to them from the restaurant into the garden, and that was it.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Councillor Jones. Any other members, or would anybody else like to ask? Councillor Lee.
Thank you, Chair. Question for Mr. Moomin. When you realised the situation was getting out of hand, which seems like it was quite early on, what efforts did you personally make to try and either get it under control or stop the events?
Well, we did straight away, as soon as we saw lots of people come in, and we did speak to the guy who was promoting it, the thing, and said, like, this was going out of hand, what's going on? There's a lot of people come in, and then I spoke to my brother, who was there at the same time as well.
The guy kept saying that was the last of it, but no more people are coming. And so we, then the police came in, and the police with their help, they were quite happy with how the situation was under control at the time at the event. And they said to us the way we dealt with it, they were satisfied with it, and they put in a good report, favourably for us. So people were coming. So I was trying to, obviously saying to them, the promoter, they had some people on security out there to stop people letting in, and that's why I think people are parking outside as well. because we will not let any more people come into the venue. Hence the build-up of surrounding area with the local people's people parking local people drive, because we did try to stop that. So I think the way we they handled it and slowly stopped it was probably a better way than had we have said switched it off and had about 400 or 500 people left. I think that would have been a bigger problem. The fact we stopped it slowly and asked people to start going and told the promoter you got to stop people. And the promoter, the police would probably say as well, he was very hard to get hold of. So we was running around trying to find him to stop him and tell his people stop to come in.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your response. Are there any other questions, or would anybody else like to come back on any of the points before the committee retire to consider? Somebody's got their hand up, but I can't see who it was. Is it Councillor Lee?
Sorry, yes. Another question for licensing officer. The original event was proposed for 200 people. Would their license at the time been sufficient for the events that was proposed, taking away the COVID-19 restrictions? Thank you.
Outside of COVID, pre-COVID, we would still have required a TENS application for such an event. There was no such notifications. It was just a pop-up event without any legislation or any sort of authorization.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for your attendance. Because this is an unusual situation and obviously the meeting's online, we will now finish this meeting and the committee will reconvene in another meeting. Our decision will be emailed to you, hopefully within 24 hours. So thank you all for attending. Thank you for your input.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your help.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.